Are you interested in packaging your knowledge into a high-ticket product on or offline? If your answer is yes, the Giant Experience is for you. Here's my story. I got started in my business over 20 years ago, and I simply made the decision to go to work as myself. And maybe you have been wondering how you can take all of those years of experience, your knowledge, or your degrees, and put them to use for yourself and to package it into a monetizable structure. That was me 20 years ago. I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer, and I realized that so many women wanted to know exactly how I was able to write best-selling books, and having done partnerships with both Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies and get signed to media, Emmy-nominated and nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist. And so I decided to equally transfer what I knew how to do to them. And I built out a coaching practice that today has coached thousands of women just like you who are ambitious, smart, and sharp, highly actionable, go-getters. And they wanted to figure out how they could go to work for themselves. Hey there, guys, it's Mia here. I am so excited. I'm excited about this topic today. I'm going to keep it short but powerful, and that is where purpose leads, freedom follows. Where purpose leads, freedom follows. Now, I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I got started in my company about 20 years ago, and I knew that there was a purpose and a calling on my life. And likely you're listening to this because you know that there's a purpose and calling on your life. And I wanted to take my background as a corporate trainer, my experience at that time as a mom, and I wanted to support other women with systems that would help them around their own identity. I knew so many women that got lost in motherhood. That was not my story. And I wasn't my story because of some practices that I had. And so I decided to take what I knew, put it in a structure that was high value, and I supported hundreds of women. And through my coaching practice, tons of women who decided to buy my books. I ended up doing a number of corporate and strategic partnerships with large brands, leveraging my book and my position as the mom strategist. I got signed to Emmy-nominated and nationally syndicated television shows. And so what I want you to know is that when you lead with your purpose, okay, your gifts, your purpose, that freedom follows. And when I say freedom, I'm going to break down 3 different ways that we can look at what freedom looks like when we honor the purpose and calling on our life. I know that for me, I always felt in my work life that I was not fully expressed. And what I mean by that, and likely you'll relate, is I just felt like there were other parts of me, other parts of my gifts and my talents that in the workplace, in my work choices, I didn't get to be all of who I was. And I promise you that when you make that decision to honor the purpose and calling in your life and start your business as a coach or consultant or trainer or licensing or whatever it is that you're meant to do to serve others with your high level skills, the truth of the matter is you will feel fully expressed if you are doing the thing you are called to do. And fully expressed, this to me is what it feels like. It's like getting up every single day and loving what you do, number 1, but 2, loving who you get to do it with and how you get to do it, the way you get to do it, loving the talents and skills that you get to use. You feel like you're using more on the hard skill side, the things that you've studied for and trained for. It could also just be your life experiences. You feel like you get to be all of who you are. And I wanted to mention this specifically today because there are so many women that I've had the great privilege to work with who have been told that they need to put their skills and their talents in some container, that you need to either choose between the hard skills or the soft skills. You can't put them together. But I'm a woman that put both of those skills together. I started as a mom coach, built a very large mom practice, coaching practice. And then from there, I had a lot of women that said, I watched you build this business and brand over the course of 10 years. Can you show me how to do the same? Build my brand, work from the comfort of my home, package what I know into a high value product, get signed to television shows, do strategic corporate partnerships, be a consultant. They wanted to know how I did it. And so fast forward today, I've had the great honor and privilege, my clients call me the chief giant, to be a strategic advisor to women who have an ability to create results for others. And it could be something you're doing right now in your profession, but it also could be something that you're doing organically, like in your community, just being yourself. That's what we're going to talk about today, that when you lead with purpose, freedom automatically is the result of what you get from that. And I am a witness to that. I have seen so many of my clients who have been confused about their talents and their skills and how to put the package together of themselves into a valuable product. They've been confused about how to properly value or price their talents and their skills in the marketplace, because up until the moment that I met them, someone else was determining their fee, their job was, or their salary was determining their value. They've been confused around how to position themselves. How do you take all of your years of experience and education and expertise and put it in a structure that can work for you without killing yourself, right? And then how do you, if you've not been closing and selling your own things, right? Like maybe you're working in your career, you haven't been selling yourself. How do you make that shift and now begin to have this conversation around, this is what I do and this is how I do it and this is why it has great value to you? I will tell you that those are the things that, I teach my clients how to do. And I've watched so many women who've decided to package their purpose, change their lives. And as a result of that, they've created this level of freedom. The first level of freedom that I want to talk about is fulfillment. So to me, fulfillment means you're doing what you absolutely know you were called to do. It means when we are truly fulfilled and walking in our purpose, doesn't mean that when you're working, you're not working. They say if you're working, you've never worked a day in your life because you love what you do. It means that there's a joy to the effort that you're putting in. And because you're in alignment and with your calling, when you're doing that work, it actually doesn't actually feel like work in the same way of that you have to push yourself to do something that you absolutely don't want to do. There are things in my business sometimes that I'm like, it's not my favorite thing to do. But when I think about what the end result is, like when I get to work with the women one-on-one or in a group one-to-many, when I see the lights come on, when I see a person who didn't know how to sell, maybe a therapist who I'm able to break down the sales structure for her, and she closes that first $25,000 deal for herself, and her life begins to change because she does it over and over again. There's no other feeling like that. And that's called fulfillment. When you operate and lead with your purpose, there's a level of freedom that you get in fulfillment. It means that every single day you get to do work that you enjoy, that you get the payback for 100%, and you see it realized each and every day when you see the lights come on for your clients, when you're serving from your highest and tallest place. It's very fulfilling. And I think that so many smart, sharp women, we aren't always serving from our highest and tallest place because sometimes the workplace requires us to be a smaller version of ourselves, or to mute what we know, or to give away the knowledge that we have to someone else with a bigger ego, maybe a bigger title. And we allow those individuals to, take credit for the thing that we came up with. And there's nothing fulfilling about that, right? But when you're doing your own thing, when you package what you know, the reality is that you get to watch all of your flowers bloom every single season. And that is fulfilling. There's a joy, an unspeakable joy that happens in your life and in your world when you get to live that way with your talents and your skills. And so that's the first level to me of what freedom looks like. It's number one, when you lead with your purpose, you get to have fulfillment of your calling. You're watching people create results at the highest level because you're using your gifts, your highest and your tallest gifts, to support others. And I think that's the reason that we have gifts and talents. I believe that's what we're called into our purpose. I don't even think my gifts are for me. I think my gifts are for me to give them away to others, right? And I believe that's true for you too. Number two, it's the second thing I want you to think about when you lead with your purpose is that it creates for you freedom. And freedom can be looked at in a lot of different ways. But I think it gives you first creative freedom to be fully expressed. You're doing what you love to do the way you want to do it. You're doing it in a way that doesn't confine you in any way. And when I think of being confined, I think, what if I want to combine my soft skills as a mom and my hard skills as a corporate trainer? Can I put those things in a business together? Sure. In your own business, you can. And specifically, if they're your highest and your tallest skills, and you know that if you put those things together, it's really going to help someone. So I just want you to think about that for a second. Like, what are the two things, or what's a soft skill you have and a hard skill you have that maybe you've been thinking, in my own business, I'd love to merge these two things. And maybe somebody's told you, like, you can't do that. That's what I was told. I was told years ago that no one would ever pay me to coach moms. Okay, because there wasn't really, mom coaching wasn't a searchable word at that time when I got started. And they were wrong. And the reality was the person that told me was a man who didn't value mom coaching, didn't understand what the core problem was. And I combined what I did professionally and what I knew as a mom into a business and created an incredible business where I had the opportunity to coach hundreds of women, where I had the opportunity to have millions of views on Emmy-nominated nationally syndicated shows. All because I operated in my call. And see, there's a freedom when you get to do your own thing. And I think it's underrated. A lot of people don't really have that experience if they don't take the risk to jump and start their own business and begin that piece. There's a freedom equally in how you get to work. So for me, I worked for 20 plus years, always from the comfort of my home. And which I think is really cool, in the last 4 years or so, I have an office downtown. That's where I'm at right now. And it's given me an opportunity to be able to have the freedom to work wherever I am. So if I want to work in another country, I can. If I want to work from the comfort of my home, I can. If I want to work in an office situation, I can. So, and not only by proximity, but also time. There was a time when my kids were very young and I decided, you know what, I'm only going to coach my clients after 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I want my days free. See, there was a freedom around that. There was a time when I said, I only want to work on, I don't want to work on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, or Mondays, right? Because I had a young family, we would travel a lot. There's a freedom in being able to operate in your purpose and design your schedule. And a lot of women never get to sample that because they are so taxed by our current working situation that they can't be expansive around that. But I want you to know that running your own business and packaging what you know this way creates tons of amazing options for you in terms of what freedom can look like. It's also the freedom to compound your time. And I think this is something that we don't talk about enough. Building a business based on leverage, not trading time for dollars. I think so many people hear the concept, but they don't actually understand it. So let me just keep something really simple. Like, imagine that you start your coaching, your consulting business, and your goal is to hit six figures just in that business right now, like you're 1 year from now. And you start selling your product for simply $5,000 per client. You only need 20 clients to service them. Imagine, let's take it a step further, that you service these clients in some kind of group program. So what you're doing is one to many. So let's say you meet with the clients, 2 times a month in a group. So in reality, you might be meeting with your clients 2 hours a month for that same six figures. So instead of trading time for dollars, what you may be doing currently in order for you to hit six figures or the same six figures, you're not putting in 40 to 60 hours a week. But you can give your clients everything you've got, because when you're with them, you're not trading time for dollars, or the freedom to create a transition plan for yourself. And I think a lot of people don't think about this too. When they're running a business, they think it's all or nothing, but it's not. You can have the freedom to just create a transition for yourself. For those of you who are looking to retire or are currently in retirement, running a business this way is, to me, one of the best options. Today what I'm talking about is that when we lead with purpose, freedom follows. And I've given you already a couple of examples of what it looks like. Number 3, wealth. And what I mean by wealth, to me, I think a lot of times we think wealth specifically is in terms of capital or money. But wealth can translate in a lot of different ways. Wealth to me is also being able to build a business that I can sell, right? Wealth, and to me, building a business package around what totally opens you up to be able to do that. Wealth also can look like, or your wealth can look completely different because, imagine if you understood how to build a business that would bring your ideal clients to you instead of you going to them. So maybe right now, the way you think about marketing, or maybe the way you've been taught about marketing, you think you need to go from one speaking engagement to the next. You need to podcast every single day in order for you to do that. And it's driving you crazy. What if you knew how to bring the clients to you? For me, that's what I've done the last 20 years before we did lives and all of these things. I took almost a year off of doing lives. Last year I had announced it because I wanted to show that you could build your business without having to go live. I love going live, but without doing it. And it works tremendously. I built my business before there was live. There was just doing audio. And I think so many people today don't understand the power of how to properly attract their ideal clients and build a business where the client sees you and wants to come to you. And you can do that in the simplistic ways. We're talking about, running a purpose-filled business. Hey there, darling. Will give you the freedom that you want. And one of the ways that I see freedom is wealth. And wealth sometimes is knowing a different approach than what you know. Sometimes we look at things maybe online, or we're doing what the herd is doing. And I can guarantee you that if you do what the majority of people will do, you will get those lackluster results that they get. There are very few people that I have met over the years, and I'm not saying this to be braggy or anything, that have worked from the comfort of their home for over 20 years. And I wanted to learn from people like that. Okay, so for me, my philosophy when I got started in my business was, if you're not free, you can't teach me. And I think a lot of times when we're looking for teachers and mentors online, we are so all about the shiny and the glossy. We're so all about you go to a conference and the music and doing the line dance and all that. And none of those things are going to get you free. What wealth is an example of how to compound your time, or how to run your business, the business of coaching, because coaching is more than the delivery of the services. You need to know how to run the business that you're in. And ideally, you'll learn it from someone that's been running their business, ideally with the example that you want, from the comfort of their home, with a time compounded model that's working in a way that's one to many, that understands how to build high ticket, high value programs with what you know, that knows how to help you package and position yourself as the ideal person for your audience, so that competition is irrelevant, because it is irrelevant. The reality is that if you know what you're doing and you know how to create, hey there, darling, to create an amazing result for others, the echo will do the work for you. Wealth equals health, balance, and freedom. It absolutely does. And wealth equals equally for me, Deirdre, this idea of being able to, at any time, have control over my ability to earn. And I think a lot of times, especially today, a lot of times we don't feel like we have control over what it is that we want to do. We feel like, I hope my job doesn't let me go. I hope that, someone will pick me up for another year. When you're running your own business, you have all the freedom to be able to choose powerfully for yourself. What are you going to do next, or who are you going to get in front of? And that is a wealthy mentality. Pick your rabbi for their inspired action, and wisdom, not their claws. Absolutely. I love how you restated that. And wealth to me also is being able to do what you absolutely love to do, meaning not just the business, but what the business affords you to do. Like, and as you know, Deirdre, I love to garden and I love to be able to spend my time gardening. Okay. And, or doing whatever I want to do. And there's so many people who are living their lives each and every day, but they don't get to be fully expressed around the wealth things that really make you wealthy, the things that bring you joy, or spending time with your family, or being able to show up for the things that really matter the most. And to me, that is one of the greatest assets of running a business. And I wanted to bring this perspective to you today because I don't think we talk about it enough. And specifically online, so much of it is all about, so much of what we hear is all about, making money. And making money is important. It gives you options. It gives you security. But I always say, for what? What's the bigger purpose and intention? For me, being able, now that people call people empty nesters, but I call myself a full nester because my life is really full. Now that I'm a full nester, I'm so grateful that I got to see every little moment with my kids. I had built a business that allowed that level of wealth to come to me. For me to be able to be at any play I wanted to be at and to be at any event that I wanted to be at, for me to be able to be a part of each of my children's moves and not without any hesitation because I had to report to someone else. To me, that's wealth. And it's the ultimate wealth. And it's what I'm into. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, is that when purpose leads, that literally prosperity follows and freedom follows. And what it looks like is it's three things. One, your fulfillment changes. You are more fulfilled in your life when you get to be more of who you are in your life. And I hope this inspires you to take that step. Number two is freedom. Freedom to do what you want, the way you want, with who you want. And I can't even express that any better than that. And three, wealth. Looking at wealth, not only just in terms of monetary wealth, but wealth is actually translated in terms of you being able to practice the things that you love, you being able to experience the people in your life that matter the most, you being able to show up for the things that for you are like a non-negotiable, the things you never want to have to negotiate in your life, you can be there for yourself and for others. And if this live has resonated in any way, and you said, Mia, I love this, and I'm looking to create some level of option for myself, I want to encourage you to, check me out at miaredrick.com for as long as you want, right? Check me out at miaredrick.com. You can always sign up for one of our 30-minute strategy sessions, and I'll help you figure out for yourself, what is your thing? How do you take your skills, your talents, and your gifts and put it in a high value structure, position who you are authentically so that you attract your ideal clients the first time. And I think an ideal client are the kind of people that get results based on what our skill set is. Once you understand what that is and how to put that together, they're investment minded. They are implementers, right? Your ideal person, and understanding how to have a significant conversation with someone who's ready to create change in their life with what it is that you do. If that interests you, I want you to go to this link here at miaredrick.com and you can book an appointment. And I'd love to have the opportunity to speak with you, right? So you'll see the breakthrough session there when you go to my website. All right. So as I promised, this is going to be a short live today. And I hope that you got value. Did you get value or did you get value? Deirdre, did you get value? Okay. For as long as you want, you 100% agree. Right. That deaf and took, right? I love that. I love that picture of you and I love you. All right. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate you 100%. And I hope that there's something that I've said that resonates. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if it did resonate, share it with a friend. I'll talk to you soon. Have an amazing day. Good night. I love you too.
I have been working with Mia Redrick for a couple of months now. I come to this experience with a lot of education. She was speaking my language from day one. What has changed for me is with all of the education, with all of the training and workshops and private coaching and things that I've had, what I didn't have was a real understanding on how I could package these things, price them, and promote them so that I could monetize what it is that I do and what it is that I wanted to do. And now with Mia, I have an understanding of how to take my tangible and intangible gifts, talents, and skills and put those things in a package that allows me to serve other people and benefit from it.
I was stuck. I never thought of my knowledge as something that I could create it as a proprietary system. What is the value of that? For me, it is priceless. And I'm so happy I made the investment because I can now see how my business can be transformed and how I can be transformed as a result of this work. So I cannot thank Mia enough.
Before I met Mia, I was selling my product for a very, very low price, and I did not just believe in what I was worth. So I had to change my mindset. I had to change the way I thought. I had to start believing in abundance and expecting it. And so these are the things that I had to learn as Mia mentored us. Now I'm happy to say I'm selling my product for what it's worth.
Before working with Mia, I couldn't sell a $297 product. After working with Mia for about 10 months, I was pitching a $10,000 product to a company.